Welcome back, everyone, to another Company Affairs 2 replay cast. And this time it's going to be a 4v4 sent in by Nuclear Il-2 Sturmovik, close air support. And yeah, he's going to be coming in as the Soviets, as you can see, building a support weapons Kampanija. His friends are going to be Assassin, utilizing the British Lord Zlidin. What the hell does that mean? Lord Zlidin. That's yeah, I have no idea what that is supposed to mean. Anyway, he's the Soviets, predictably. And there's one more person. Is it a man? No. Is it a plane? Probably not. Is it a bird? No. And it's good that he's not a plane because he's AFK. So if he was a plane, he'd probably be crashing into the ground right about now. He's Superman, and he's playing the Brits. Although, I mean, he did send one squad there, so I guess he wasn't AFK. He was just partially AFK. He sent them to one squad there and then just kind of forgot about everything else. And now he's running away from some Stern Pioneers. Oh, God. Sinergy. Damn, that's loud. What the hell? So Sinergy M is one of the opponents, as you can see. He has the OKW, and he's already fighting up north with some of these Soviet and British troops. Then we have Weed, H hashtag PP apostrophe Y 2. What? How would you even say that in English? That kind of 2 points. I don't know. That's what we call them in Italian. Due punti. I don't know. I don't even know. Then German Cross, D-Day German Cross of the GWG clan. Okay, that name is done, and he's gone for a sniper. And the other people are, well, Falls 101, thanks for having a decent name, and Ghost Exoden as the Germans. Well, as the Wehrmacht, sorry. And that's a lot of firepower from those glorious infantry sections. So as you can see, it is a bit of a mix and match on Hill 400, which means it's going to be absolute shitstorm. And I will absolutely miss almost everything that's happening. Of course, it was sent in by Il-2 Nuclear, so I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the southern side of the map. We do have that he is moving in with a lot of conscripts. Conscripts actually plus support weapons Kampanija, except nothing from the support weapons Kampanija was built because he was relying on the Vickers machine gun in the beginning, and that's working out. As you can see, the Germans are just completely routing off the field, and the Soviets and Brits will just get the opportunity to cap everything in the south. So that's good for them. Also, the north is being overrun by British, and that's never a good situation to be in. Okay, lucky Stern Pioneer was not so lucky in the end, and now they can cap the northern field, although there's the cutoff under German control, and that's actually going to be covered by a machine gun bunker from D-Day. So yeah, I guess the Germans take the north partially, and the Allies take the south heavily. There's also a mortar pit coming up, but it's not going to be built in time, and he's going to cancel it because of the arrival of some nasty Volksgrenadiers. And in the south, the Germans are going to try to use a lot of infantry and mortars and machine guns to dislodge the Allied defenses down here, and it might work, might not. We do have a Bofors coming up for Assassin. Interesting that he's not going for a mortar pit because he's facing off against 2 mortars. I guess he's just kind of so confident that he can deal with the mortars anyway. To be fair, we do have that Nuclear Il-2 is moving in with all of his forces. By the way, if any one of you wants to know, Nuclear Il-2 is actually polite people, and you know, he usually sends in replays with that name. So yeah, he's that guy. Oh boy, needs to run away from Volksgrenadiers. Okay, at least they're gonna escape. And in the south, it seems like these Germans are trying to break through, but there's a bit of a brick wall of Soviet. And the brick wall of Soviet is just a lot of conscripts, and it's working. It's working pretty well. Of course, there's a bit of an issue, like the British guy is being a very intensive, I guess you could say, SimCity person, which is going to leave his Soviet ally very hard-pressed to actually do all the fighting if the enemy does not go into the emplacements, which, well, I mean, it can happen, and it's about to. They are in range of the Bofors after all, and once they get spotted by these infantry squads, they're going to get torn apart. But once the Germans sort of realize what's going on, they're going to get a massive amount of mortars, support guns, and whatever, just to deal with the mortar pit, and once they deal with the mortar pit, they can easily destroy the Bofors. So yeah, this is not going to be that great, and I think that this Grenadier squad is about to die, absolutely getting just obliterated by the Bofors. He is lucky to escape with his life, and yeah, also a bit of an attempt at a counter-snipe. Shh, do not talk. Here comes the sniper. But yeah, the sniper's not being that sneaky though, because he's in the open. He's lucky that there's these bushes in the way, and the Soviet sniper cannot see him. So Lord Zleden is gonna be... Lord Zleden can't really counter-snipe the sniper, as, you know, D-Day cannot counter-snipe him. At this point, who is the sniper and who is the counter-sniper? Nobody knows. So there is a British artillery piece. He's kind of raging at something. I have no idea what. The north is just completely German right about now. It's actually kind of scary. And this is coming in part thanks to this glorious machine gun bunker covering the main approach. Also partially because of the fact that all of these mortar pits continue to get just crushed by German troops moving in. And yeah, good play by the Germans. Good solid play by the Germans on the north. And by the Allies in the south means that, oh no, yeah, that's not good. Means that it's just going to be a bit of a split in the middle. So as you can see, the Allies are able to steal all the German support weapons in the south, whereas in the north and in the middle, we have the Germans kind of capturing everything and putting up good bunkers, good defensive emplacements. Can that Bofors be built? Finally, Superman will manage to get one of his emplacements on the field. So there's quite a lot of SimCity going on for the Brits. And if they can keep this going, well, they're at least going to have some good strong points to work off with. But, rather work off of, but you need to not be, like, too dependent on the emplacements if you're the British. Of course, we have advanced emplacement 1 plus advanced emplacement 2. So there's going to be a lot of depending on emplacements. But if the Axis can get something to counter those, like a lot of mortars, like a lot of support guns, like field howitzers, like Sturm Tigers, you know, all these things, then they're kind of a liability as much as they're a strength. Because if you're going to be losing your replacements, then you're going to be in big shit, to, you know, use very mild terms. Nice granata. Yeah, dying, yeah. He will die for the Rodina. Luke's on the field. This is a good time to see what everyone's teching. So, Brits, of course, going for Bofors. I think both of them. So spending a lot of fuel on emplacements means that they can't really get company command posts out as quickly as they would want. We have Tier 3 coming up for nuclear L2, so he might want to go for an Su-76 just to get the artillery ability. He might want to go for a T-70 to try to deal with the enemy infantry. Who knows, might want to wait for the Tier 4, whereas Lord Zleden is going for an Su-76 of his own, so quite a lot of early to mid-game expenditures for the Allies, whereas the Germans, well, we've got Volksgrenadiers moving up, but Volksgrenadiers moving up, what are they concealing? We've got, of course, the Mechanized Regiment Headquarters, which is the Luke's guy for Sinergy M. Falls 101 has gone for a battle group headquarters right near the base, so normal stuff. He's getting out some support guns. We have Phase 2 coming up for Ghost X Odin, and in the north, we have that D-Day has Tier 2 and is not going for Battle Phase 2. So actually, not a lot of teching from the Germans either, despite the fact that you know, there's not a lot of teching going on from the Allies. Germans not able to really get the lead, also despite the fact that they, well, control mostly the north side of the map, and the Allies don't really control the southern side of the map as much as the Germans control the north. So it's actually a more stable resource situation for the Germans than it is for the Allies. So that should mean a resource advantage, but it's not really showing, at least not yet. Nice push from the Allies, gonna deal with those support guns. So that's exactly what the British player needs. And, well, once this thing cannot be done anymore, like just moving up at the support guns and forcing them to reposition, forcing them to not fire, oh, that's unfortunate, forcing them to not fire on the emplacements, all of that. Once this is not possible anymore for the Allied infantry, which might be very, very soon once the German infantry gets veterancy upgrades, and especially once they get better units, then the British emplacements are going to be in trouble in the south because, you know, massive support guns, massive mortars, and hopefully even Panzerwerfers and Stukas. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Speaking of Stukas, why is Sinergy M not going for a Stuka? I do not know. Right now his Lux is having some problems due to the Su-76, and Su-76 from Lordsleden is going to be in a prime position to kill the, not the Stug, sorry, the Lux. And he's not gonna take it because this guy cannot aim. So Vasily over here probably should be sent back to tank school in Chelyabinsk. Taking a look at the overall situation, we can see that, like, the Germans have the north still under control. They're contesting the center with the Allies. It's kind of a back and forth over here. And the south is kind of a firm Soviet and a British fortress. However, it's looking very good, in my opinion, for the Germans up here, because despite the fact that the Su-76 can counter the Lukes, everything else points to a good position for the Germans. They have more infantry. They have some pretty good support for said infantry in the form of anti-tank guns and snipers. However, they need to be careful, again, that they do not just get all of these elements taken separately. As you can see, the sniper without any infantry support, the infantry without any anti-tank support, all of those things separate can be picked apart by the Allies, and this is what is allowing the Allies to keep the center not under lockdown, but at least in a contested zone. So if the Axis can really just get more compact in their formations, have more combined arms, more support between their various units, they're going to have a lot more success in the center. And what they need to do next is try to deal with these annoying mortars, because otherwise, of course, it doesn't matter how much, you know, anti-tank guns you have. If the mortars can deal with those, well, it's not good. For the south, what I would advise these two German players to do is, to be honest, just completely bypass the British fortress, which is kind of what Falls 101 is doing. And just move into the south where there's nothing, move into the munitions point over here where there's nothing, and try to get some flanking maneuvers like this. I wish that I had a draw tool. Try to get some flanking maneuvers, follow my cursor off like this, where there's no, like, the zone that the British emplacements can cover is like about this one. So if you get around through this road, you can move up into the flank of the Allied positions into the center. Okay, so you support your allies, and once again, after you've dealt with this position, or at least supported your allies to your liking, you can go back around and again get behind what the allies really are considering as their front. So trying to be as unpredictable as possible, because that's the way you defeat emplacements other than artillery, right? You know, damn, gammon bombs. You can either use overwhelming artillery fire, which always works, or you can try to be unpredictable when you don't have the manpower to get a lot of artillery on the field, or a lot of munitions to use off-map abilities or anything like that. So if you can be unpredictable, then the emplacements don't matter, because the enemy doesn't know where to put the emplacements to counter you, to counter what you're going to do. So yeah. P4 on the field, and this SimCity is quickly getting out of hand. Oh no, this is a little bit like my my SimCity like video. There was, I forget what I called it exactly, but there is a SimCity video. Just like go into my playlist of Company of Heroes live games and you'll see it. It's called like, okay, so it has a trailer called like SimCity is coming, and yeah, after that it's linked in that video. You should probably go watch it. It's well, not exactly like this because the allies were on the other side, they were over here, but yeah, like just it's the crawl of emplacements towards the center of the map, which is like really now. This is a little bit like when you watch those like I don't know if you've ever. I'm not sure. Are there any of you that actually play StarCraft? Because I've never played StarCraft, but sometimes I like to watch StarCraft matches because I think it's actually relatively entertaining to watch really good players play of StarCraft. I haven't done so in like years, but I don't know. I think it's actually pretty entertaining. But it's kind of like when in those StarCraft matches where it's like one of those guys just decides to creep up into the enemy base with like turrets and cannons or bunkers or whatever it is. And, you know, wow. Was that the SU-76 direct hitting a half-track? Damn. His gender just got assumed. And, yeah, everyone, of course, getting a rush for the medical supplies from Luftwaffe supply. And the state now forgives him. Oh, no, the state now is forgiving a lot of these penals. They're going to have to run away. And, oh, crap. Are they going to die? Well, no, because of the medical supplies, they're not gonna die. Of course, somehow having taken medical supplies recently makes you harder to hit. That's the Company Fears 2 logic, and somehow the SU-76 can just kind of fire through the Hill 400 bunker. That's good for them. Oh boy, this is not the best thing if you're that machine gun. So yes, they're on the way, and somehow the VPs are just even. Because the center and the south are being exchanged fairly, you know, incessantly between these two teams. So what's happening is that despite the fact that the north is completely German, and it's being German for a while, the south and the center is being just kind of, it's being changing hands in such a way that it's allowing both sides to shave off equal amounts of tickets from the other side. So that's kind of retarded. And yeah, well, it's gonna go to a very, very atrocious late game. And well, we're gonna need to be. I'm actually just gonna stop because it's just so like there's so much going on. I have no idea. We're gonna need to look at like the situation, what's actually happening. Okay, so we have Falls 101. In the south, we have False 101 plus Ghost X Odin. Ghost X Odin with a P4, a couple of infantry squads, one grenadier, one Panzer grenadier, and then Falls 101. He's got 3 folks, 2 machine guns, 2 pioneers, 2 support guns. Them he likes 2, and he's getting a supply half track to get probably a Panzer headquarters. So he's got 400 fuel actually in the bank, and so that means that he can get like something out of the Schwer and something out of the Sturmtiger. Not something out of the Sturmtiger and the Sturmtiger, or maybe he could go for the KT and then the Sturmtiger, which to be fair is what I would do if I were him with 400 fuel. So yeah, he's in a prime spot to get some late game armor on the field, and if he can get some late game armor, then the emplacements are going to be relatively obsolete for Assassin. Assassin facing him has 1 AT gun, but it's not enough. Like the mainstay of his forces are just the emplacements. He's got the forward assembly there. He has got the company command post, and you know that's fine enough for him. 198 fuel means that he's gonna get Fireflies relatively soon, and with Fireflies he can get some tulip rockets to work on the enemy armor if it comes. We have a KV-1 coming in from Nuclear Earth 2. That's an interesting decision. Actually, no, that's a KV-8 flamethrower, right? Because this is Terror Tactics. Is it? Yes, it is Terror Tactics. And it's one of the doctrines I love. So Terror Tactics is going to give him a lot of anti-infantry. And what I enjoy is the fact that he can use that fear propaganda artillery also to push back support guns and AT guns. So this is going to be very useful in the late game to protect the emplacements and their armor when it moves in. So for example, you have your KV or whatever moving in, and you just pop that fear propaganda artillery on the enemy AT guns once you see them, and you make sure that they can't participate in the fighting, because first they get suppressed and like you know, oh no, we cannot fire as fast as we used to fire, and then you just deal with them because they're retreating. So that's one good thing. The other good thing is the KV Flamethrower, because it's the KV Flamethrower, and who does not love a big giant Kliment Varashilov tank with a flamethrower? And then you get the gun howitzer and the L2 precision bombing strike, which are both going to be very effective at neutralizing enemy artillery pieces and once again protecting these emplacements. So this is actually pretty crucial because this doctrine is very effective at supporting what the British are doing. In the center and the north, the situation is a little bit different because the north is pretty much completely fortified by the Germans with lots of mines, emplacements, you know, a few AT units, garrison buildings, caches, just everything you can imagine. So that gives the Germans a lot more resource advantage. As you can see, 41 fuel as opposed to 28. However, what is the difference is that in the center there's a bit of a scruffle. So there's Superman for the Allies and Lord Zliden. Superman has a lot of emplacements going for him, and if you can like protect these, that's good. But I think he's gone a little bit overboard. Like 2 Bofors and 3 mortars is very, very difficult to keep alive with just 2 infantry sections, because again, he needs to repair these things. So only having 2 infantry sections, not enough. In terms of attacking, he's gone for tier 3, and wait, what? Counter battery. Oh, never mind. That's good. He's gone for tier 3, and he's trying to utilize that counter battery, of course, to try to deal with the enemy artillery that's pounding his emplacements. So that's okay for him. He's still also got 165 fuel, so that means that he can get some kind of late game armor on the field eventually. Wonder if he's going to try to go for the Comet tank or Churchills and airburst shells. Lord Zliden, well, he's pretty good. He's got a Katyusha, he's got a howitzer that he's building, and tank hunter tactics means that he's got P-tabs, so that's nasty for enemy armor. And now we're gone. We are through. So we've got a Stuka coming in for Sinergy M. He's got a lot of infantry, and that allows him to really contest the center. Especially because there's only one player with good infantry on the side of the Allies, that's Lord Zliden. And, yeah, his buddy over here, we'd happy, I mean, whatever he's doing. He's going for a tier 4. We've got our orders. So yeah, now that I've got this big, nasty, like, speech... oh boy, Stukas. I was about to say, now that I did that, well paused, thinking that, hey, I don't have time, nothing happens for a long time. That's usually what happens. Oh boy.
A Firefly is ready to give someone a bloody nose.
So of course, Firefly. And, yeah, I mean, I've already said everything. Like, everything that I've said is coming true. Yeah, MSH. Anyway, so we have P4 against KB Flamer, but KB Flamer has the support of AT guns down here, so that's good for us. In the meantime, up here in the north, we have Piats trying to deal with the Lukes, not really having the best of luck at doing that. And, yeah, like the Stukas coming in, and, yeah. Where's the AT gun? Oh, down here. At this point, I feel like it's just going to be a bit of a huge mess of artillery for a long time. So I'm kind of tempted to skip ahead because I don't think anything too interesting is going to happen. I'm at least going to double speed it. Because this has all the recipe ingredients for, you know, something pretty massive in terms of just artillery slugfests. So Comet on the field for Assassin. That's actually a good decision because it can help him deal with this Panzer IV. Needs to be afraid of the Panzerfaust though, and yeah, that's not good. So Comet not in the best positions, especially because of these Panzerschrecks. Panzerschrecks trying to get into the rear. They are, or rather, the Comet is lucky that there's this Vickers, but fragmentation bombing actually destroys it, which is interesting. And the Panzer IV comes in to try to defeat the abandoned Comet tank. Bounces. AT gun moves back. Slowly but surely tries to deal with it. Bounces again. AT tank grenade. And it's dead. Sorry for the retarded voice, but that was just so stupid that I had to just make sure that I conveyed my feelings. Oh boy. What the hell? Incendiary artillery? What was that? Oh, right. Luftwaffe support, or rather Luftwaffe supply, has that incendiary bombing run. Barely does not kill. Never mind. Kills the Bofors. Also killed one of the mortars. So that's pretty good. And as you can see, already, just in the space of not a lot, Superman is out of his forward emplacements. And this is why I love the KV-8. This thing just does not give a damn about whatever the enemy wants to do. Here comes a bombing strike, precision bombing run by Nuclear L2. I don't think that's going to be enough to kill it, though, unfortunately. Almost enough. It's going to have to be finished off by something else. And I like how the KV-8 is getting spotted by the map hacks. And honestly, had he kept the KV-8 there a little bit longer, I feel like he might have killed the Schwer Panzer quarters, because now the flames are going to run out. Oh boy. Half-track has arrived. Really? Why has Weed gone for a half-track? That's an interesting choice. I will say that. I guess he wants to reinforce things on the field. That's actually pretty fine with two Pak 40s that are, by the way, oh, never mind. That's the ML20. Okay. See, I thought that, like, are you getting fired on by the, 25-pounders in the British base? I thought that that was just them being considered as artillery by the counter battery, which was like, ooh, what? That's a meme. But no, it wasn't a meme. Oh, big Stuka barrage. Good on you. Yeah, once again, German attacks in the south crashing against the Allied defenses. German attacks in the north mostly crashing against the Allied defenses. And this is getting pretty good for the Allies in terms of, the VP game. We'll see, though, if the Germans can bring on anything surprise. And, wait. Falls 1-on-1 with 500 and plus manpower, not manpower, fuel. Instead of going for either a Sturm Tiger or a King Tiger, which he could, went for a Panther. Why? I mean, sure, Panther's good, but it can only fight enemy armor. Why go for something specific when you can go for something better that's a jack of all trades? Especially on a game like this, where it's not like you're really mostly afraid of enemy armor. Like, it's really the Allied fixed defenses that are giving the Germans a hard time, so... Oh, well. I don't know. Oh, wow. That Panther's taking some nasty damage. Stuk up here. Yeah, well, not enough. Once again, the Allies losing a little bit. Losing the VP a little bit, and then, yeah, just being recaptured right now. So that's pretty okay. 2 Panthers on the field for Weed. That's okay. That's okay. And a Panther's coming in for Sinergy. So there's just Panthertopia coming in. Another Panther here. And then another Panther. Everyone's going for Panthers. What the hell is this? You know, what the Panther spam would be good, actually, in, is if every single Panther, and imagine I'm, like, doing some, like, scenic gesturing right about now. If every single Panther was grouped together in one, so what I'd love is if every single Panther, for example, was grouped over here, every single one, so every Panther that the Germans have, and then push through this gap. Because see, this gap has been around for a long while. What the Germans have been doing is they've been attacking on this frontage, and again, you're going to have to follow my cursor because there's no drawing tool. They've been attacking on this frontage, and this frontage with just some harassment over here for this entire game. I feel like if they try to flank through here and get in the middle of what the Allies have, they could get into the rear of the Allied defensive lines and do a lot of damage, but they haven't been doing that, and so as you can see, this is really coming into play because the Allies have been able to just get, you know, a few good defensive positions, emplacements, with a few good tanks and support, and that's been able to repel every German offensive. But it should not be this way. Is the Su-85 going first for the map hacks? Yes, he did. Mad respect for that Su-85. Although now he's in big trouble. Because here comes the heat shells on the Panther, and yeah, that's a lot of damage. Su-85 alone can't really deal with it. Here comes some anti-tank grenades. Will that be enough? He missed. That's incredibly lucky. Here comes the fragmentation bombs, but... Wait, what? What was that he called down? That was artillery from Elite Armor. Weird. And second Panther, however, didn't get anti-tank grenaded, and so now he can come back around and finish off the Su-85. Does take a lot of damage in return, and yeah, he does go down. So one Panther for an Su-85, not the worst trade in the world if you are a Soviet player. There's also a Zsu half-track that's there to deal with enemy aircraft. Common moves in to clean up some infantry, but he's going to get flanked around by a couple of Panthers. A couple of Panthers who are going to run straight into the, you know, waiting arms of an anti-tank gun, so though. That's not very good. Of course, the Sioux has to escape out of there to get himself to safety. And the Panther alone, well, Panthers alone against all of this for the Allies is, of course, going to be an easy victory for all of what the Allies are bringing to bear. Of course, Panther tries to move in and deal with the Comet. However, the Panther is taking some fire from the Bofors in support, and you know, with the rear armor hits, it's actually going to do some damage to the Panther, and that means that it's not enough for the Panther to be there alone. It should have been supported by infantry. Where is the infantry? Where are the support weapons? They're back at base or in the center. So yeah, it's good that you're trying to support your allies, but you really should be trying to do so when you have kind of secured your side or abandon your side completely. Don't do a half mixture of either, because if you do so, then you're going to be doing everything badly. But like Patton said, he who defends everything defends nothing. So it's better to do one thing well than to do two things badly. Especially when you have a lot of micro to deal with. And, well, these players certainly do have quite a bit of micro to do with right about now. Oh, crap. Poor conscripts in the middle of the river. Oh, crap. Big German offensive in the center. Is this going to be the big push? 122 force has already gone down. Here comes a big, actual rocket barrage of some kind on the Allied positions. We do have, yeah, the Su-76 goes down. However, there's still an Su-85 over here with camouflage, so Lordsluden can provide some good anti-tank support. Now, though, it's going to be the Su-85 that needs to be supported, and that's not the best thing ever. It's not the best thing ever. Lots of damage coming from the first Panther due to the Piats, but the Hohmann Piats will not be enough anymore. Panther destroys the Su-85. And so the Germans do bag a kill, and the Allies get nothing. I like how this machine gun has decided to push up all in its lonesome self and is just murdering the pack gun crews. It's kind of hilarious. He's like, ah, get me help, 9, and he's dead.
Enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
Good job on the sniper, by the way, Lord Zliden. So now after the last engagement, we have that the Axis have a much better position in the center because they really, like, shoved down Superman's and Lord Zliden's forces, but their position in the south has gotten worse. So what might happen is that they pivot to the center, the Germans pivot to the center, and then they get flanked from the south by the Allies that have cleaned up in the meantime the center flank, which might happen. And also there goes another Panther, that's not great. Also probably Panzer II Lux is gonna die, yes. Comet also pushing up. Two Comets on the field this time for Assassin. So Assassin is really starting to build up his mobile force. That's great, of course. And the Germans need to be a lot more careful in the center as to what they're doing. Jagd Tiger? Yeah, I guess. Oh my god. Jagd Tiger. Interesting. There goes the mortar. Finally. Wisely, the Comet decides not to suicide there. And, yeah, we'll see if the Allies can, again, put up more pressure at the south and then come in to their aid of their friends up here in the center, who, to be fair, after that last engagement where they destroyed the Panther and the Lux, they're looking a lot better, although there's the KT, or sorry, not the KT, the JT, which can counter the Firefly and allow the Panthers a lot more of a breathing space. However, do you want to allow the Panthers a lot more of a breathing space if you're the Germans? Is that your priority? Maybe not, because maybe your priority should be to deal with this fixed Allied defenses and in general deal with whatever is preventing your infantry, which does exist. It's not like the Germans are out of infantry or anything. They do have troops, but they're not able to push through and get points and hold points consistently. So that's why right now the Germans are down to 200 VPs, whereas the Allies are at 306. So what is going on? Well, of course, part of that is the emplacements. Part of that is the Allied infantry that's entrenched near those emplacements. And so what is gonna need to be done? What is gonna have to be done is some kind of cleanup action against the emplacements. So that does not mean anti-tank, that means artillery. But well. KT finally on the field. No Sturm Tiger, despite the fact that I feel like that would be useful. Finally, the Germans will try to get a bit of a combined push going from somewhere, and that's actually a few Panthers moving in to deal with the Soviet troops in the south. It looks like something over here was destroyed, because I do distinctly remember a unit being there. It was an Su-85. So one Su-85 goes down. However, the rest of the Axis tanks are moving in. Is that a fragmentation bombing? That is an amazing fragmentation bombing, and it's going to get followed up very, very quickly by the Panther push through the smoke. And that's going to be the end of one of those comets. Also, a rocket barrage from a Stuka helps to destroy the HP of one of the comets and the emplacements. Second comet goes down, and that's exactly what the Germans have been waiting for a lot of this game. I'm not sure why they're moving back, though. I mean, yeah, sure, there's a precision barrage over here, but they still got hit by it. What they should honestly be doing is capitalizing on this success, but they're not doing that. And instead, they're sitting there taking damage from enemy AT weapons, you know, the Su-85 over here, from enemy infantry moving in with anti-tank grenades. So that's, of course, pretty good. Of course, that's Tank Hunter, so he's got the RPG-43 grenade assault. There goes one of those Panthers. Now, the Su-85 has a little bit more of a free reign over the area, and it's just not looking as good as it could be. So yeah, it's bad. However, this Panther can probably destroy the Su-35 because it's caught it with its pants down. Can it? Should it? Yeah. Should. Big assault artillery. Wait, no, that might not be assault artillery. Yes, it is assault artillery. Okay, so assault artillery is gonna actually allow the Bofors to brace and repair in peace, which is kind of hilarious. Potato masher, is that a, yes, that is a gammon bomb, but it's not enough to kill it. However, this is gonna be enough to kill it. So this very confused engagement, it looks like 2 Su-85s and 2 Comets, plus the mortar pit, plus the Bofors went down for 2 Panthers. Did I get that correctly? Something like that. It was a big victory for the Germans, especially because it also has very much destabilized the Allied defense. Like, it's made the Allied defense a lot less fixed than what it was. Like, the front line is not as stable as it was just a few moments ago. Oh boy, is that the Yak Tiger down? Yeah, the Yak Tiger's gonna go down. Wow, that was fast. That was incredibly fast. That was just an AT gun, an Su-85, and a couple of infantry squads of tank grenades. That is the weakness of the Yak Tiger. Needs to be supported by infantry, otherwise that's gonna happen. And yeah, needs to be supported by units. Can't send it in alone. Nice Stuka bombing strike destroys an anti-tank gun, I believe that was, or maybe it was a infantry squad. But a Panther goes down in return. So the Germans, despite, you know, despite getting some good successes and finally managing to turn this into kind of a war of movement from a war of position, well, I guess they didn't know what they were, you know, wishing for, because in turning this into a bloodbath, essentially, they're losing a lot more than they're gaining. And right now, they're about to lose a KT. Can they save the KT with the Sturm Tiger? Well, there was no need. And now the Sturm Tiger has wasted a shot, and the second SU can come in and finish off the KT, while the KV Flamethrower is eating all the damage. Well, I guess the L2 Sturmwick is gonna destroy that thing. And wait, what? How? Oh, this Panther. Okay, right. See, I saw that die. I saw the Su-85 die, and I'm like, what killed it? The Sturm Tiger had already fired. It's impossible that it killed, and then I saw that there was a Panther.
The enemy is firing on our HQ.
So actually, well, once this Panther dies, because it will die, we're gonna take stock of the situation. Actually, he did manage to kill the Madman. He did manage to kill the KV Flamer, and he's gonna go to the grave near it. Okay, so let's take a look at the situation, because it's just got a whole lot more confused. So because Ghost Exodin has 4 Opel Blitzes, and he's also the one that has a massive amount of fuel caches strewn about the place, he's got just a ridiculous amount of fuel income. And it does not matter that he loses Panthers, because he can just replace those. So he's got 2 Panthers, of course. Falls XO1, 2 Panthers plus a few more. Sorry, that's not Falls XO1, that is D-Day. 2 Panthers plus a few more units, 3 Pioneers, 1 anti-tank gun. So he can do something as well. And then Sinergy M, lots of infantry. And then we have Falls 101 with the Sturm Tiger and a few things. So right off the bat, like, the Germans, first off, are they out of position? Because I was about to say the Germans have troops that are kind of complementary to each other. So you saw that one of the guys has a relatively balanced force with infantry and Panthers. Another guy only has Panthers. Another guy only has infantry. Another guy has a Sturm Tiger and a few infantry squads. So if all these were combined together into one relatively small area, they could be a relatively potent force. However, as they are, the infantry guys just kind of spread out in the north, and as soon as a comet shows up, he can't do anything. The guy with some infantry and some Panthers is over here in the center, and he cannot do anything against the emplacements. And he's not supported by the guy with the Sturm Tiger, who's in the south, along with the guy who's only got the Panthers. And these two guys cannot do anything against the enemy infantry, so they can't really come in and cap this VP. So the result is that the allies, who are a lot more compact, at least they're not really compact as in like 3 or 4 players into one area. There's 2 and 2, but they're still compact and they're still mutually supporting. So there's the guy with all the emplacements that's supported by the guy with the infantry and the artillery. There's the guy with the comets that's supported by the guy with the KV Flamer and the Su-85. And that's working together a lot better than what the Germans are doing. So that huge loss of Panthers that the Germans had means that now they're down to 4 Panthers, whereas the Allies are at, when it comes to armor, there's Su-85, Su-76, so Su-76, 2 Fireflies, 1 Comet, 2 Comets, and soon to be 2 Su-85s. So it's kind of an equal number between the Allies and the Germans, but the Allies are more versatile when it comes to what they have, because the Germans only have Panthers, whereas the Allies have a lot more roles that they can fulfill with their vehicles. They've got their, of course, Fireflies, they've got their Su-85, they've got their Comets. So overall, it's looking pretty good for the Allies. If they can keep this center VP under their control, which should be doable, they're in a great spot, because there's not much that the Germans have to really defeat them.
The enemy are weakening. They're down to 100 points.
And as you can see, because of all of this, the Germans are down to 100. Why did he build the Bofors there instead of here? I'm asking myself. Because if he built the Bofors here, if Assassin built the Bofors here to the south, then he would be able to cover the VP with it. Like, if this thing can shoot at a VP, it's a lot more useful than if it cannot. Also, it's more covered here, because there's more things in the way of, like, anti-tank guns, tanks, etc. that might want to kill it. Here, you can just, like, move an anti-tank gun here and fire on it. But, well, that's just my opinion. This is a free society, damn it. I'm entitled to my own opinions. But what if you're an idiot? Are you still entitled to your opinions? Well, I don't know. That's a lot of anti-tank for the Allies. By the way, this howitzer has been pretty effective. 32 kills. It's actually firing on where the Germans are repairing their vehicles, and oh, that is so close to that thing going down. Lucky. Anyway, gonna recapture it. Well, no, never mind, because there's a Sturm officer and he's gonna just force retreat. However, here comes the MG, and here comes another MG, and there's Royal Engineers, and the Royal Engineers are gonna die to the Sturm. Sturm does a lot of damage to Comet Tank, and there's a Jagdtiger. You can recognize this shell from, like, a mile away. So they've rebuilt their KT, and they've rebuilt their Jagdtiger. There's a slight problem. Their KT and their Jagdtiger are in a very vulnerable position, because what if something moves through here? Now, what if something comes from the flank? The age-old dilemma. RIP KV Flamer, by the way. Also, where's the German infantry? There's a few just kind of derping around here getting artilleried. There's a few derping around here getting reinforced. And there's a few derping around the north and not doing too much. And, that's allowing the Allies to just kind of have these VPs for free. The Germans are down to 97. The Allies are at 261. In the meantime, it seems like this guy is about to eat a satchel charge to the face. Where's the Jagdtiger? Where is the Jagdtiger? Why is the Jagdtiger not here to prevent this from happening? You traitor! What? Traitor! That's just absolute verrat. And yeah, this guy. Well, if the commander of this Jagdtiger survives the battle, which, well, he might not, he's definitely gonna get called for a bit of an interview with the, SS. And, oh boy, the Jagdtiger actually took a nasty hit from that precision barrage. It's now stunned. It's got its engine damage. There's... that was a great Storm Tiger shot. And there's an Su-85 trying to kill it. In the meantime, there's also another parallel battle going up here, up here. Another Firefly is dead. Third Firefly is gonna go down to the Panthers. Sorry, that's not the third Firefly. That is the second Firefly. Gonna go down to the Panthers. The second Firefly and the third British tank. Sorry, I'm just getting confused. Is he gonna go down? Is he gonna continue to escape? Is he gonna survive? Is he gonna die? I have no idea. What is this Panther doing? It's exposing its rear to the anti-tank guns. Oh no. And, well, it seems like the Firefly will survive, the Panther will die, and, the Jagdtiger die? It looks like it. That's the Sturm Tiger guy. The Jagdtiger guy, I don't see any Jagdtigers around, so, yeah, I think that's all over. The Germans have just lost everything. That was a very massive, just, push, thrown into... Funnily enough, like the place that I said the Germans should have attacked, which is this one, all this time, but it was just a little bit too late, you know, because at this point, the Allies, even the Allies did not believe that they were coming for the center, so the two extra Allied players knew to move their vehicles here as soon as they saw the Axis, attack. So it was just completely worthless, and with not enough infantry support, pretty much no artillery support, that attack was just kind of doomed to failure. So the Axis are going to try one last hurrah, I guess. But, I mean, there's a lot of things going on against them. And, wait, is this an Allied Panther? Yes, it is. And it's going to destroy the Sturm Tiger. That fat guy also getting killed by a 17-pounder that now is on the field. Center getting capped by some Pioneers, but it's Pioneers, so they're gonna die. Big artillery strike. And yeah, I just don't see it. The Germans, well, they do have a lot of resources to build new vehicles. They do not have the time, though, to do so, because they're down to 44 VPs. Oh, look, Panther tried something, but it's gonna die to the firing line and the Fireflies. Somebody's shooting at us. Huh, so the Panther actually has... Yeah, the Panther actually has the Cromwell voice, and not the Comet one. Kinda derp. Oh no. They captured the center, what shall we ever do except send an engineer? And yeah, the Allies are just at the German base. Once again, you know, the two Tigers, this is the third time they come on the field. Will it end the same way? Well, it's possible. It's also possible they don't do anything. Comet's in trouble, though, because of the Panther. Should probably activate prioritized vehicles, by the way. Okay, good. And now he's just gonna bypass the anti-tank gun, does not care at all, and is gonna just destroy this Panther, obliterated with superior firepower. Although he might lose one of the Fireflies to the Panzerschrecks. Yes, he does. That's fine. That's an okay trade, especially when you have 3 Fireflies and the enemy does not have 3 Panthers. Oh, that's the end of the KT. Is it? Is it? Is it? Yes, it is. Oh, no, it isn't. Hilarious. Anyway, they could have tried to get, like, you know, they could have tried to stay there, and they don't have enough munitions to do so. Oops. And the Su-85 tries to move in to destroy it. Gets a little bit cucked Of course, nice tulip rockets from this Sherman Firefly means that the Jagdtiger is actually stunned, which allows the Panther to come in and destroy the King Tiger. Also, the Panther now can probably just get behind the... Oh no, he will just play it safe. Oh, because of these two Panthers. In the meantime, all the Fireflies have been destroyed thanks to the Panther push plus the... you know, from the front, the Jagdtiger was firing on them. But can the Panthers really do anything with this victory? Most likely not, because, you know, here comes a anti-tank grenade assault, so that one of those Panthers is damaged. There's an Su-85 firing. That's probably going to be the death of one of those Panthers. And yeah, South gets recaptured, and they surrender. Well, that was long, and it was pretty filled with stuff. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.